afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Life Enhancement and Development Live. I'm Cassandra Washington, the CEO and the host for today. And thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great show lined up for you. We've been talking this month about manifesting your vision, and this series is all about giving you the strategies and tools and resources that you need to make your dream come true, to manifest your vision in your life. And today I have with me again transformation coach Bernadette Hicks-Kelly, the CEO of Effective Transformation. And she's going to be sharing some more information, strategies, and tools with us and resources to help us manifest that vision. And we're going to jump right in because we want to give her the time to share with us. And so we're talking about the imagination. The imagination is the breeding ground for manifestation. And we're going to talk about that and get into that. You know, Albert Einstein said the imagination is more important than knowledge. It is the language of the soul. Pay attention to your imagination and you will discover all you need to be fulfilled. I really love that. I really love that.
Yes.
So we're going to get ready to jump right in. Before we move forward, we're going to allow Bernadette to say hello and to welcome her to Life Enhancement and Development Live. How you doing today?
I am awesome, awesome, awesome. I am enjoying this beautiful day. It is so beautiful outside. I wanted to do this outside, but I was concerned about the bees.
Yes, indeed. It is definitely beautiful. It's a beautiful day. It is beautiful outside. And talking about the outside and this time of year, it is
Yes.
the spring when things come to
Mm-hmm.
life and things
Yes.
are blooming and coming into existence. And that's just a good metaphor to help us jump into what we're talking about, coming into your metamorphosis,
Yes.
evolving, being transformed, being that person or doing the things that you know that you can be and that you have dreamed about doing. So, I was just talking about Albert Einstein, how he says your imagination can lead you to everything that you need to be fulfilled, and how the imagination, it made me think about, that's how I came up with this title, that it is the breeding ground for
Yes.
manifestation. It is that place in our mind that allows us to nurture our vision and
Yes.
to cultivate our vision and to give it the support that it needs to manifest on the outside. So with that in mind, tell me, what do you think the imagination is, and what makes it so powerful?
I think what the imagination is, that secret place within you deep, where it's really your reality. Is your imagination is that reality that's in you. It's almost what we call a spirit realm. It's that
Mhm,
spirit realm deep in and it's not in your mind, it's in your heart. And
mhm,
it's that secret place where you can go. And the powerful thing about it is you can make it positive or you can make it negative. You really get to control it. Nobody can control your imagination. Only one person can control your
mhm,
imagination, and that's you. And again, you can either make that a good thing or you can make that a bad thing. And with imagination come feelings. When you really want something good to happen, and you really begin to feel that in
mhm,
that imagination, it becomes real. That's how it began to manifest. Now it's becoming real. So I try to
mhm.
always dream about the good thing. Enough bad things happen. I don't allow the bad things into my imagination. I used to, until I realized that, I 100% control my imagination. I can make it good or I can make
Mhm.
it bad. So I
Yeah.
decided, I want my imagination to be positive.
Yeah.
I want to imagine all good stuff happen to me. I don't want to imagine what the bad gonna be like. I only want to know what is the good going to look like.
That's right. That's right. And that is so true. That is so true. It's how you use it. How do
Absolutely.
you, how do you use it? You can use it, uh, you know, for good, or you can use it for bad, because what
Absolutely.
what you begin to see, or what you begin to imagine, that image, you can make it come to life. You have
Absolutely.
the
It's
power and the ability to make it come to life. And
exact.
so, manifestation is, like I'm saying, it's the results that you want to see. What it
Mhm.
is that you want to happen. It is that end goal, or that good success that we're expecting. The word of God says that God has a plan for us to prosper us, to make
Yes.
our way prosperous, and to give us good success. So would you say that if we get this picture, this end result in our imagination, in our mind, is that a good place to start to build that picture, that your imagination?
Absolutely. Because if you can really, your imagination is your place. You're creating something. You're
Mhm,
beginning to create things the way you want it to happen. Again, you can create it bad, you can create it negative, and once it's in your heart, again, that's where you're beginning to create. That's where the imagination is. I know we often talk about, our brain. We've been taught to say it's in my head, it's in my brain. No, that's where your thoughts are, but your
mhm,
imagination is in your heart, because you imagine what you really want to happen. Sometimes the brain is creating what's happening around you, but the heart is saying, but this is what I want to happen. Like my
mhm,
brain can tell me, there's an accident going to happen down the street, and something bad is going to happen. You're going to try to apply for a house and you're not going to get it. But my heart, that I'm imagining, and I can see myself sitting in a house, but my
mhm,
brain can be telling me that's not going to happen. So that's why I say we imagine, we create, and we manifest from the heart. If we manifest
mhm,
from the heart, it's our truth. My truth lies in my heart. That's why we talk about the
mhm,
scripture say, God knows my heart. I can
mhm,
say out of my mouth what I'm not really believing in my heart, because sometimes we
mhm,
repeat stuff out of our mouth that we think people want to hear, or
mhm,
what we want them to, kind of believe, if we don't always want to tell them our truth. But again, our heart can say, yes, I live in Georgia, but I really want to live in New York City. So my mouth
uh-huh,
can say, I'm happy in Georgia. Georgia is all right. But my heart said, if I ever get the opportunity to live in a
mhm,
high rise in New York, I'm out of here. So again, that's telling me that, it's not my brain that's going to speak my truth. My heart is going to always speak my truth. So that's why I tell people, create and speak from your heart, not from your brain, and not from your thoughts, because our thoughts not always good. I tell people all the time, thank God I'm not always my thoughts. So, because sometimes I think stuff that, it's like, because our thoughts can be from what's happening to us at that time. If something negative is going on, you just got fired from the job. If you just got fired, you're not having no good thoughts. It
mhm,
may be later on that day, or maybe next week or 2 years from now, that you realize getting fired was a good thing. But the
mhm.
first time you get fired, then you thinking, wait, I got a car note, I got a mortgage due, I got rent due, I have babies. Don't You're not having good thoughts. No. It's later on that those thoughts are good. So, yes, manifesting, manifesting, manifesting. Again, I love that you talked about Albert Einstein when you first came on. We have to find people who are saying, yes, we're going to the Bible and we're going to the Word, but we also need to reach and read. We can research and read other stuff. I
Mhm.
love Einstein, because you
Yes.
talk about one of the most creative men, a genius, and he is saying, well, how did I do this? I
Yes.
began to imagine this. I was meditating on this. And so I love to go back and read some things that Einstein speak. And you just spoke of one that said the imagination is more than knowledge. It is absolutely, because even if I don't have the knowledge to do something, I dreamed of being a business owner long
Mhm.
before I had the tools to be a business owner. So it's absolutely true. Your imagination is way more important than knowledge.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so you talked about how the brain, we our mind, our brain, how
Mhm.
it tunes into things that are around us, those five senses. We
Yes.
can, what we can see, what we can feel, what we can taste, what we can hear. But the imagination does not work off of those things
Right.
that are outside of us. It does not
Mhm.
work off of those natural things. So that's why it is so powerful, because it
Absolutely.
extends way beyond the natural.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
is way beyond the natural. You talked about the thoughts, the thinking. How does your thinking play a role with your imagination? Why is it important that we learn to manage and control our thoughts? How does thinking play an important role? And if you would take us through an exercise that you use with your clients, use with a client who may need help in developing good thinking habits.
Okay. For example, that's a really good one, Cassandra. For example, when people have been hurt, so we're gonna talk about hurt. If you've been hurt from a job, if you've been hurt from relationships, if you've been hurt in any form, if you
Mhm,
are not healed from that hurt, it affects how you think. It affects how you process things. So then, if you're not thinking properly, you're not imagining properly, and then
mhm,
your heart begin to shut down. So if you're in a negative place, the heart shut down and the brain completely takes over.
mhm,
You've heard people say, I did that without thinking. I took I've seen people send out emails or send out texts and regret they sent that text out. That's because you are not thinking properly. If you
mhm.
had stopped to think, you would have
Uh-huh.
sent that email out.
Right.
You wouldn't have called and cursed someone out, because you realize, wait, it wasn't even them, it was me the whole time. And sometimes when our thoughts are out there and they're not positive and we put it out, we don't get to take it back.
Mhm,
So I tell people, when you're thinking something and it's not a positive thought, write it down, clearly write it down, put it in a text if you need to, and hit delete and
mhm.
go rest, go do something else. And now you and I big on resting. Go
Yeah.
take a nap. Rest your mind, rest your body. And then when you wake up, if you still feel the same way, then
Mhm,
okay, maybe you need to deal with that. Maybe it's okay to send that email out. It's okay. So then you on the right thinking process. And the
mhm,
other thing is, if your thinking is not good, and if you're calling someone else who's thinking is not good, then you've come into agreement on bad thinking.
mhm,
So
mhm,
you have got to get your thinking under control in order to manifest something good. Now, again, saying that, if your thinking is negative, if you speak that out of your mouth and that now enters into your heart and you speak it, that's what's going to happen.
mhm.
So if we talk about losing weight all the time, if I
Yeah.
get discouraged and I'm and something is not going right, and I say I'm just never going to lose this weight, I'm just going to give up, I'm never going to lose this weight, and you keep saying that, the
Mhm,
heart eventually is going to say, you know what, I give up, I'm never going to lose this weight. The moment the heart accepts that you're never going to lose this weight and that you give up, the most important thing you said is, I give up.
mhm,
That means nothing you do is going to work again, because
mhm,
your heart now is speaking your truth, and your truth is, I give up. And if you notice, once you give up, you gain weight faster than when your heart was still trying. Even if I'm eating a cookie and I'm like, I don't want to be fat, I got to do better tomorrow. I have eaten a cookie, Cassandra, and said, you know what, instead of eating 4 cookies, I probably should have had 1 cookie,
uh-huh,
because my heart knows I really want to lose this weight. But if
mhm,
my thinking say, well, I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to start this afternoon, well, I'm going to eat these 2 cookies and then I'm going to go jog for 15 minutes. You're not telling your thinking off. You're not telling yourself the truth. That cookie was 500 calories. You know you're not going to walk long enough to burn off 500 calories. It's not going
no.
to balance out. It's not going to balance. But my thinking is off. So we
Mhm,
got to get that thinking down in order for everything to work properly. But yes, your thoughts will drive what you do. If my
mhm,
thought is, yes, I want to start a business, but at the same time I'm saying, you know what, they not gonna, I can't stand that word, they gonna hold you back. They gonna stop you. That first,
Uh-huh.
I don't even know who they are, but if our thoughts are that somebody's gonna block us and somebody is going to do something to us, then we sit down and we have a pity party and it becomes our reality. So now
Yes.
we've manifested that thing that, and we did nothing. So to
Mm-hmm.
say the business is not going to work, it's absolutely not going to work, because now your words have made that come true, that it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to work. And not only is it not going to work, you're not even going to try because you've told yourself enough that it's not going to work. So you don't even get up and try doing anything.
Mm-hmm. And we have to do something to stop those thoughts, to
Yes,
change, to switch it,
yes,
to switch it. And we can do that.
we
We
can do
have
that.
we have the power to do that. We
We
have,
have,
I think once before you did a exercise at a conference last year of how to stop a bad thought. Can
yes.
you run? Uh-huh.
Yes. Oh, for this is what I tell people when bad thoughts come in. First of all, acknowledge that it's a thought. Acknowledge that it's a bad thought. Acknowledge that thought. So again, we're talking about weight loss. So when the thought comes that I want to eat, I want to buy a cake. I'm in the store and I'm shopping and I'm trying to get healthy stuff. And sure enough, cakes and cookies and candy gonna be
All around.
all over the store. So the thought comes, go ahead and get that candy. It's a small candy bar. You might pick it up and look at the
Mm-hmm.
back of it and be like, oh, it says 90 calories. If I eat a half, it says 90 calories in 1 tablespoon. You're not going to eat 1 tablespoon. No. So what you need to do is when that thought comes, is put your hand up and say, not, no, not today. I'm not going to eat. No, you're not going to entertain you. I'm not going to eat that candy bar. It's just like anything else that comes. If someone too close in your space, you put your hand up, stop. You getting too close. We back it up. And just like we can physically back people up, we can physically back up our thoughts and say, stop. Not
Mm-hmm.
today. I'm not eating no sugar today. I'm not giving into that today. Stop. I remember doing a workshop and I used Cindy Trim. Cindy Trim gets a book and she talked about commanding your morning. And we
Mm-hmm.
need to command things to end. We can call things to an end in our life. And so we can call those thoughts that's coming to say, well, eat unhealthy. We can call that to end. Not today. I'm not doing this to my body no more. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing this to my mind, because being unhealthy affects more than just your body. Yes,
Yes.
it causes high blood pressure, and yes, it causes diabetes, but it also causes ADH, ADD. It causes your thought process to be off. You hot flashes is coming. You upset, you angry. All these things are happening because our health is not good. But we can call those things to an end. Again, put your hand up just as you were stopping something else and say, stop. Not
Mm-hmm.
today. When that thought comes, just stop. I'm not having that thought today. I'm not entertaining that today. Just like, someone coming and bring you some bad news, talk about someone. What's the first thing you say? I don't want to hear that today.
I don't
I
want to
got
hear it.
enough. I don't want to hear that today. And it's the same way with our thoughts. When our thoughts come and they're not positive, literally, and it's gotten so much easier. Cassandra, it was hard when I first put this into practice, but now
Mhm.
I can hear it. So, no, not today. Not
Not today.
today. I'm driving down the street and someone cut me off, and you want to get a little testy. I said, not today. The sun is shining. It's 75 degrees. Not today. It's going to be a good day today. I'm going to plant flowers. I'm going to enjoy the roses. Not today. And that's what we have to do, is we have to tell ourselves, what's going to happen to my day? Today going to be a good day. I'm going to walk in abundance today. So we call stuff to an end. Just like we command our day, let's call stuff to an end. And when it's not working, I said, I'm calling that to an end. When people not calling me back and I'm trying to sign some contracts, no. I don't know why this phone not ringing, but I need this phone to start ringing.
Yeah.
I said, Cassandra, I speak a different language. I said, okay, Faith, I need you to turn into some clients. I need someone calling this phone today, because if I've set a goal to make $40,000 or $50,000 for the month, somebody got to call my phone. So
That's right.
that phone not ringing, I'm calling that to an end. No. Phone, I need you to start ringing today. I don't know. So I send Faith out to do a job.
Yeah, let it do the work that it wants to do. That it wants to
Absolutely.
do. Why not let it do the work?
Why not? I want to sit and enjoy the rose and send your Faith out. Let him work. He wants to work.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that is so true what you was talking about, commanding your day. I remember there was a time when I was just looked like stuff was just happening back to back, things that I didn't want to happen. And I would, the thought people use the term, if it ain't one thing, it's another. And it ain't one thing, it's another. It looked like something. It looked like it's something all the time. Those thoughts were coming. I said,
Yes.
I'm not going to say that. So
Nope.
it was this song by this jazz singer named Diana Reeves, and the song says, "Today is going to be a good day."
Yes,
and I would literally I kept that CD in my car, and every morning on my way to work, I would play it. I would play, "Today is gonna be a good day." I don't entertain problems. I don't entertain pain. No room for depression. I'm not gonna whine or complain, because today
it's gonna be a good day. And you know what, Cassandra? I use Mary, and I remember hearing this song. They said, "I cried my last tear." The first time I heard the song, I was like, I get it. It's okay. It's a good song. But I remember when that song became my reality. And I've used that song a couple of times. So we can hear some songs sometimes, or we can hear a passage, we can hear a word. But when it becomes our reality, we take on it changed our posture. It changed how we wake up. Like you said, we get up and we know the words. It's one thing. You can say, I know the song. How sometimes we're trying to remember something. You're like, that song where they say stop or go. But when it affects our world, it changes our day, and it really resonates with us, you know what? We know the words. We know the artist. I mean, I need to hear that Mary. I cried my last tear. And I have cried my last tear on contracts again. I've cried my last tear on relationships and business. And that's what we have to do. We have to find music. We have to find a song. We have to find a friend. We have to find that thing that helps us. And like you said, that song helped you call things to an end.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And it changed me. It changed my attitude. And it changed my attitude. And so, with what we're talking about, let's talk about repetition and meditation, how important that is to manifestation, because that's what I did. I played it when I tell you, for months. For a long time. I was even telling people, this is my theme song. This is my theme song. She said she wrote that song based on her mother. Her mother would get up every day. The song talked about how her mother would get up and read the newspaper. But no matter what happened, her mother said, "Today is going to be a good day." And I literally played it every day on my way to work, and my drive time to work was the same amount of time that song played. So by the time I got in my car and drove to work, I had listened to that song, and my mind was ready.
Ready for whatever came.
Yeah. So let's talk about how important meditation, and some people say prayer, repetition and meditation, how important that is to manifest what it is that you really want to see.
It's so important, because what happens is meditation, prayer, it gives your brain time to rest, where you're telling your brain and you're telling your heart, quiet. I need you to quiet down, because I've heard people talk about, my mind is constantly going all the time. And I myself have been there, where my mind is constantly going on. And when your mind is going, you can be in the bed, sleep, and wake up unrested. And if you're waking up unrested, it's because your mind is still going. Your thoughts are still going. And so praying, and meditating and just not talking, not thinking. And it's something that you have to practice. When I really thought I could meditate, Cassandra, but I didn't know how to meditate, girl. No, I didn't, because I would say I'm gonna sit still. I'm not gonna think about anything. And I promise you, I would sit there, and as soon as I closed my eyes, like, okay, you got to pay. You forgot to pay the electric bill, and you forgot to pay the gas bill. And I said, mm-mm. And then you didn't sign those papers. Did you call Joanne? And it took me a minute to practice where I could shut my mind off without it thinking something. So meditation takes time. And it's the same way with prayer, just as you're saying. And you got to learn how to pray, because prayer isn't always talking. Prayer is going in and say, I'm listening today. I'm not going in to say, I'm not going in to ask. I am listening today. I need to hear God speak to me. I need direction. But more than anything, I need my brain to rest. I need to shut all of this down and take one day at a time. And I think the biggest thing is when our brain is going and going and going and going is because we worried about tomorrow.
Yeah.
We worried about yesterday, and we're not living in just today. I'm telling you, Cassandra, when I got to the point where I learned how to live in just today, just today. And then I was able to not move that from 24 hours to move that into 2 hours, and then to the hour, and then to 30 minutes, and then to 15 minutes, and then to the now. So I had to practice just live in right now. It's a practice thing, because I would be living it right now, worried about what's going to happen 5 hours from now. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm be here 5 hours from now. So to be able to live into it brought me such a place of peace and rest. And you know what? I thought clarity was a big thing. I thought clarity was a deep thing. And I realized clarity came when I wasn't really worried about all the other stuff. When I began to focus on just what's happening in your life right at this moment. When I learned to focus on the moment, that's when clarity came. I could clearly think about what I was working on at the time. We think we can multitask, but we cannot. Multitasking forces you to think about the future. When we're told to live in the now, if we operate and move in the now and do one thing, we need to master one thing and do one thing well. I'm not talking about simple things. Yes, you probably can type and talk on the phone and be okay, as long as that phone call is not a business call. If your cousin called and it's a quick call, you probably could do that and still do what you need to do. But you can't have an 8-hour conversation with someone and still think that you can read a contract. You're going to mess something up. And that's why you need to say, okay, what's the most important thing I need to focus on right now? I can call my friend back. I can call my cousin back. I need to focus on this contract. That's how we got to learn to live in just the now. And tomorrow, 2 hours from now, 3 hours from now will take care of itself. So a lot of times we burn ourselves out. We're not burnt out because we got a whole lot to do. We're burning ourselves out because we're taking on everything we have to do at one time. If we
That's
just
good right there.
One thing at a time, don't worry about what you got to do 3 hours, 4 hours, at 10. Wait, think about what we got to do at 10 o'clock tonight. I don't even know. You know what? Because what was happening, I was making these long lists of things that I was going to do and trying to get to those lists. Just a thought of what else I had to do was burning me out. I was mentally tired. I was physically tired. But once I got into the now and operate my life in just right now, I may wake up, I may finish this and say, I'm going to take a nap. I don't. If I get up and I need to make that 2 o'clock call, I'm gonna make it. If I sleep past that 2 o'clock call, I'm gonna be sleeping past that 2 o'clock call. So and that's what we got to get to is, don't just talk about living in the now. Really try and operate in just the now. We quote things, Cassandra. We're really good at quoting things,
Yeah.
But we don't always live in the quotes. It just sound good. So we start quoting things that sound good. Tomorrow not promised. But you still worried about tomorrow. If it's not promised, don't worry about it. It's not promised no way.
Yes, we quote things, but we're not really thinking about what we're saying.
No, not at all. It just sound good. And we heard somebody else say it. And so we're
Mhm.
repeating what someone else said.
That's right.
We
That's
heard.
exactly right.
Yeah,
But we're not really thinking about what we're saying. And it's
absolutely.
so true. It takes practice to
Yes.
rest. It
Yes.
takes practice to rest. And I'm like, you said it. I literally to start training myself, and I still do. I still have to work at it. I still
Yes.
have to work at not allowing myself to worry, to mull over
Mhm.
stuff, and
Mhm.
and sometimes let me go take a nap. Let me go lay
Exactly.
down. Let me go stop my brain from racing and just going over this and all the time and trying to figure something out when I
Yeah,
still keep coming back to the beginning and I haven't gotten. I said, you know what? I just need to stop. I just
absolutely.
need to stop. And I could, especially something that I can't do anything about. So we have to learn to rest, to
Absolutely.
trust, and know how to let it go.
To
To
let it go. Absolutely. I had a lady call me yesterday and she was just in a panic. And that's the other thing. Stop letting people put us in a panic and run our blood pressure. I have learned to answer the phone. And if the other person is in a panic on the other end, I want to make sure I'm as calm as possible. So she called me and when I tell you she was in a panic, Bernadette, they gave me all this medication. I'm sick and I'm already sick and I don't know what I'm going to do. I was walking around with the phone and I just let her finish. If we learn to let people get everything out, they
Mhm,
won't run our blood pressure up and we can help
mhm.
them get their blood pressure down. And
Yeah.
when she finished talking, I said, "Are you finished?" She said, "Yes." I said, "It sounds like you need a nap." You know how when we were kids and you had bad kids, what you tell them kids? You need
Go
a
in there and
nap.
take a nap.
You need to take a nap. Because that you if you're in overload, if you're going 100 miles a minute and you frustrated and you irritated, the only thing you need is a nap. And
Mhm,
so when she finished, I think she wanted me to get upset and frustrated and help build it on. I let her finish. I said, you need to take a nap because this sounds like you really frustrated. She said, but did you hear what I said? Exactly. I heard everything you
mhm,
said. And that's why I'm telling you, you need to take a nap. My blood
mhm,
pressure already high and it's going higher the more you talk about it. I said, let's
mhm,
do this. What I want you to do is go take a nap and seriously take a nap and call me back in 2 hours. And then
mhm.
let's have this conversation.
Uh-huh.
Cassandra, she called me back in 2 hours and she was still on number. She wasn't on 10, but she was on 8.5. I said, stop.
Mhm,
We're not ready yet. I said, did you take a nap? I tried to, but I couldn't sleep. Okay, that's why it's called sleeping aid and
mhm.
ZQL. So sometimes you need to get you some assistance to help you sleep. I said, hang up with me. Go to the store. Get you some over-the-counter sleep aid and some Z-Quil. And now I understand why doctors would say, and call me in the morning. Because patients, we must have had sound crazy. So guess what? I'm Dr. Bernadette now. And I said, take this and call me in the morning. And really, that's all she needs. Nap.
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't hear from her this morning. 10 o'clock came, 11 o'clock came. So about lunchtime, I called. I said, I was waiting for you to call. She said, oh, I feel better now. She said, I didn't even need to call. She said, you're right. All I needed was a good nap. And now that I slept on it and thought about it, it's all right. And sometimes that's what we need to tell people. Before you call, get me upset and frustrated, you go take a nap and then we gonna have this conversation. Because I remember Cassandra people calling, having their frustrations, and me allowing that to affect my day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person that you can call me and say, well, Billy did this to me and now I'm mad at Billy too for doing something. I'm not talking about that. I'm not
Uh-huh.
that person. I am talking about you calling saying the doctor gave you bad news, or something happened, a bill needs to be paid, and you upset about that. Now I'm upset that you can't pay your bill, and I'm watching the floor. I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out. I had to learn, like, you know what? I'm taking on too much stuff. I'm taking on too
Yes.
much of other people's stuff. I learned to stop taking on. And you know what I did, Cassandra? I would have to talk to myself. And when
Mm-hmm.
they finish telling me, and I catch myself walking and think about it, it's like, Bernadette, that is not your business.
Yes.
That's why I do workshops called Mind Your Business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was taking on their pain, their grief, their stress, and it was running my stress up. And I was like, you know what? You just need to mind your business.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do a workshop and I talk to myself. If I feel that anxiety coming on
Mm-hmm.
regarding some, yes, we're concerned about other people, but I'm talking about when it's something different other than concern about them and praying for them. I'm talking about when we now, okay, she done spent up all her money. And, most of the time it's relatives that, put
Mm-hmm.
us in these predicaments. She done spent up all her money because we know their history. And now she can't pay the rent and the car note. And she said they may pick up the car. And if I don't help give a check, that, you know what? No, 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 no. I set people free. We got to learn to set people free. And I learned one thing. They weren't crazy. It was me. So
Yeah.
guess what? I have a statement for Bernadette. Mind your own business.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's my statement to myself. When I start taking on other people's business, I stop and mind my own business. And I
Yes.
rest, Cassandra. I rest.
Yes, and we have to learn how to do that.
Yes.
We have to learn how to do that. And I love the scripture. I tell you this all the time, that it is one of my top priorities. Don't worry about anything, but pray about everything.
Everything.
And when you start your day, you have to make sure that you're in that place where you have allowed God to quiet you, to calm you, and you can't hear. You can't hear when it's chaos within. When it's chaos
Yeah,
within, and all this stuff that you're thinking is
absolutely.
just going, going, going. So you have to be able to put yourself in a position and in an atmosphere and environment where you can get yourself under control
Mhm.
inwardly,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because whatever going
Absolutely.
on inside is going to manifest on the outside.
On the outside. It's going to come out, just as we were saying. If it's a thought that's happening, and if you allow it to penetrate your heart,
Mm-hmm.
now that's a part of you, and that's what's going to manifest. And sometimes things that we allow to penetrate our heart is not us. We've just taken on other people thoughts, we've taken on their opinions, we've taken on their stress, and now
Yes,
we're manifesting things that we should not even be
that's
manifesting.
exactly
We're
right.
going
That's
through things we don't even have to go through because we took on someone else's trash. I like to call it trash.
trash.
So I don't want to be nobody's trash can, and I don't want to carry your trash out. I don't want to package your trash because I don't have time to deal with your
Mhm.
trash. That means I got to recycle. And you know how trash is when your
Yes.
trash, you got the trash and you got to figure out what to recycle. So that's time process. And that means I got to process a lot of stuff that's not always mine. But that's why
Mhm.
I've learned, mind your own business. Mind
Yes.
your own business. As you say, if it's something that I need to pray about, I'm going to pray about it. But it's something I need to release because that's your business. I'm going to release it and let you handle your own business. What that little girl said, Cassandra. Remember when the pandemic came out, they had the little girl and she was like, take care of your own kids.
But that is the truth. That is the
It's
truth.
true.
And when we're because this inward person, this person who we really are, is who we really want to cultivate.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
imagination and what you allow in your mind, in your imagination, in your thoughts, what kind of thoughts you entertain. This is
Absolutely.
what is cultivating your imagination.
Absolutely. And I
And you
want to
know,
talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
go
Cassandra.
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
want to talk about. You remember? I don't know if you remember this. This movie that came out. They called it The Secret. They made it seem like it was
Yes.
something deep and spooky, and
Mhm.
like you had missed something. And the
Mhm.
secret was simply using your imagination. That's all the
Mhm.
secret was. So they made it. Oh, use the secret. It's a secret. It's the best kept secret. It could be if you allow it to be the best kept
Mhm.
secret, but it's just using your imagination. It's nothing deep that you have to do. It's you sitting down and seeing yourself in a certain place. It's
Mhm.
sitting down believing that this is your opportunity, that this is your time. Like again, I'm gonna use purchasing a home. When I made up my mind to purchase a home, I didn't see myself 30 days before purchasing a home. Cassandra, I knew I wanted to be a homeowner 30 years ago. So
Mhm.
I wasn't that I sat down in a few minutes and decided, oh, this I had been dreaming of being a homeowner, not only being just a homeowner. I had a particular home that I wanted to be.
Mhm.
I needed this home laid out a certain way because I
Uh-huh.
needed things I wanted to do in this home. So I didn't see myself living in a high rise because I wasn't dreaming about living in a high rise. Yes, they are beautiful and I love, but that wasn't my dream. So I wasn't imagining living there. I saw myself living in a 5-bedroom house and so I could use my garage and people could come over and I saw myself with a big yard so I could do workshops and seminars and that's what I dreamed of. So when it manifested, it wasn't something new to me. It just happened so fast that I was like, wait, that's what I was dreaming about. And it just happened when I really got serious. Again, imagination. You can keep imagining for 20 years. You can
Mhm.
imagine for 50 years. You can imagine for 60 years. And once you imagine, until you become serious about, hey, this is what I want to happen. As you said, we can call it into existence now. I want this to happen this year. This is what I've been
Mhm.
dreaming about. Now I'm ready for this to happen this year. So
Yeah.
that's how our imagination works. That's how dreaming works is I know what I want it to look like. It's like wearing the color red. You go see a dress and you're like, ooh, I see myself in that red dress.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see myself. I would look good in pink. You know how we talk. Ooh, I
Mhm.
would look good in that pink suit. I've gone and saw an outfit and it's like, oh my God, I know I would look good in this outfit. You know why? I saw myself in the outfit. And it's the
Mhm.
same thing with everything else in our life. It's not a secret. It's not a big secret. Don't worry about that movie.
Mhm.
It's not that big of a secret. It's you sitting down, getting still, and deciding what is it that you want, not what someone told you is best for you or what
Mhm.
you need to do.
Yes.
Sometimes we move in our careers, people marry people because somebody told them to, and this will
Mhm.
be the best person for you. People got dogs because the neighbor got dogs. They don't even want dogs.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so you
Mhm.
dream and move into what you really want. And sometimes, Cassandra, you just need to write that down. Sometimes we don't know. Everybody
Mhm.
don't know what they want. But if you start writing stuff down and you start, I flipped through magazines when I decided what type of house I want. I didn't know what the house really wanted to look like. I didn't even know I wanted a Tesla until I went and tried and drove one. I
Mhm.
thought I wanted the BMW, the big, the new BMW. But when I drove a Tesla, that changed my heart. I was like, I don't want that BMW.
You want the Tesla.
I want the Tesla. And sometimes that's what we have to do physically, not only imagine it, physically go do it. I did a workshop and I was telling people, if you know you want some red bottom shoes and you want some expensive shoes, don't be going to pay less. What you why you in Payless trying on shoes? Why you in Rack Room Shoes trying on shoes? Why you at Macy's? No. If you want some red bottom shoes, then you go on over to Saks or whoever selling red bottom shoes, get online so you can put your feet in and make sure and like, okay, now this is what I
Mhm.
want right here.
This is what I really want.
This what I want right here.
Mhm.
I saw the homes, Cassandra, but when I went into the house and I walked around, I was touching stuff. I said, "Ooh, now this what I'm talking about right here. This what I want right here. And when I realized I wanted that house, this my house. This is the neighborhood I want to be in. I saw myself driving home. I saw myself coming home. I knew how I wanted to change the yard. I knew the floors I wanted to put in. I knew what colors I wanted the wall. I started dreaming once I got into the house and said, this is what I want right here. I hadn't signed no piece of paper. I haven't given nobody any money, but I knew what I wanted to do to every inch of that house. My husband, I don't even know if he got a chance to dream. I was like, you better jump in on this dream because I'm trying to take this over the edge.
Yes, indeed.
Girl, I'm telling you, that's so, and it's the same way. Don't be going to the bank. You're talking about, getting to the bank and was like, I ain't got but $50 in the bank. No, when you get to the bank, act like you got $1 million. What do you want to see when you go to the bank? When you go to the bank and you make your deposit and that little slip come out, write down on the write $2 million, write $50 million. Okay, I want to see $50 million on my slip. Put that somewhere on your mirror. If it's $50, add some zeros too.
Yes.
What I do, I knew what I wanted my bank account to look like. So I had got me an ATM slip out, and when I had one, I remember, Cassandra, and it printed out like $15 or something was my balance. And I clicked on and added some zeros to I said, I'm looking forward to the day when I can come to my bank account and I see $150,000 in my bank account. So that's what we got to do. I wrote myself a check. I want to make $20,000 a month. And so I remember the month when my bank account said $20,000 and I cashed it. I said to myself, you cash your check. You wrote yourself a check for $20,000 a month, and this month you cash your check. And all I'm saying to you is do something, print stuff off, and cash in on it. If you ain't got nothing written down to cash in on, how you gonna cash in? You got to write some stuff down and cash in on the life that you want. And that's all meditation is I'm cashing in on my dreams. I'm cashing in on my vision. You want to write a book. Chrisanne, let me tell you about my book, girl. I knew I want a bestseller book. I went and got the size book that I want from Goodwill. You ain't got to make a deal. I went to Goodwill, girl, got the size of book I want. I had got some printing paper, wrapped it around the book, and wrote bestseller. I put the title on the book, and I put the book on a shelf like it was when I walked by, and I said, that's my book. That's my book.
You worked that imagination, did you, girl?
Girl, and now I got two and working on another one. I mean, you don't have to do whatever works for you. That works for me. I'm so visual. I want to see what I'm asking for. I'm such a visual person. I need to. What it's going to look like for real. Some people can just dream it and they don't need to see it. I need to dream it. I need to see it. I need to make it pretty. I remember being in college and school, and I always colored my notes. Friends that borrowed my notes, they said, why are your notes color? I dream in color. I don't dream black and white. I gotta see stuff in color.
Yes, and that's what you have to do, and you have to keep it before you. You have to keep it before you. You put that bestseller book where you can walk by and see it every time. You sound like a Apostle Leroy Thompson. There I go.
There I go.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you have to do. And so, but you were saying how when you you didn't just start thinking, imagining yourself as a homeowner. You've imagined this for several years, and sometimes people get discouraged in the process because they don't see it happening right away. They get discouraged in the midst of the evolution and the transformation because it's not happening right away. What is the key strategy that you give your clients to help them persevere through the process? This is where you're going. I know you see where you're going, and I know, and what do you say to them? What's the strategy that you give to them to help them to persevere? Keep going. Don't quit. Don't give up.
I use it as the same as when we were in school, when you were in grade school, when you were in college. You had a time that you had to prepare. there was a time frame you studied, you prepared yourself, you went to the library, you repeated it over and over. So the time frame that you're waiting is a time that allows you to prepare. Maybe you asking for a humongous house, but you're not the best housekeeper. So maybe you need to prepare. How do you organize a $5,000 square feet home? How do you keep a 5,000 square feet home clean? So during that time, use that time to say, you know what, this is just my preparation time. Maybe,
Yes.
I remember my mother would used to use what we call layaway. And
Mm-hmm.
layaway was your time. And sometimes we got to think of this my layaway time. My dream is going to come true. But while I'm doing this, I can get the furniture that I want. I can put the furniture that I really want in this old house, and I'm laying away my good furniture that I want in my new house. I'm just laying it away in this old house so that when it's time to move, I'm laying it away in this apartment. I have everything I want. And now in the process, I'm learning how to take care of it, because you can't take care of a white sofa like you take care of a gray sofa. So
Yes, that's
it's your
true.
time of learning. It's your time of preparing. Are you sure you want white carpet? Because if you live in Georgia and you got the pollen, you might not want a white carpet after about 2 days of going
Mm-hmm.
outside. So,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. To persevere is take your time, that time that you're waiting, that time that you're preparing. Make sure you're doing something, not just drawing pictures and cutting out pictures and doing things like that. Yes, you're drawing pictures, but you already know more than likely you're going to have to put down some earnest money. You're going to have to put down a down payment. And so know what that number looked like and start saving that money. Yes, I could have just been drawing pictures all day, Cassandra, but at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, when they say, okay, it's time to put some money down, it's time to put some earnest money down, I have to
Uh-huh.
have some earnest money.
Mm-hmm.
As I remember listening to this one speaker, and she said, when the opportunity come, you have to already be prepared.
You
You
do.
can't be in the process of preparing. You have to already be prepared. And I did a workshop, and when I finished one workshop, as soon as I finished, another guy said, hey, can you come do a workshop for me tomorrow? Well, I didn't have time to prepare. And if I wasn't already prepared to
Mm-hmm.
do a number of workshops, there's no way I could have pulled a workshop together in less than 24 hours. But I already had my material together. I
Yes.
already had markers. I already had signs. So when he said, can you come? Absolutely. I just need to know, can you cut my deposit check? So if you can cut my deposit check today, I can be there tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
because you know what? Already prepared. So this time gives us, in the process, don't get weary in the process. Get prepared in the process, so
Uh-huh.
that when opportunity comes, it's nothing like, I've interviewed people and told them what time I was going to call and what time I was going to interview them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get them on the phone, they was like, I don't even know why my speaker not working, the camera not working. I said, you know what? Let's do this at another time. Another time may not. I
Mm-hmm.
need you to be prepared for this interview, because guess what? I've set my time to call you to interview you for a job, and you mean to tell me you didn't take an hour earlier to make sure your camera worked? You didn't
Mm-hmm.
take an hour early to make sure you had something to write with? You doing a workshop? Can you hold on, Miss Bernadette? I need to get a pen. A pen? You knew this 10 days ago. You need a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, your name get checked off of this. Now, this person not gonna come prepared. No.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are interviewing you and you're attending workshops and you say stuff, if you're supposed to be selected for something, guess what? They're already making decisions. So when someone say, well, can you hold on? I don't have anything to write with. You came to a workshop and you don't have no pen and paper. You're not going to be a good fit for me. You're not going to be a good fit to work for. And that's how our dreams are. We're complaining that,
Mm-hmm.
we're not seeing it. But guess what? We're not a good fit for this dream right now. We're not a good fit for this vision right now, because you're
Mm-hmm.
not even prepared. Nobody.
Not
And, then,
prepared.
and I'm going to tell you my pet peeve. Nobody told me. You want something, and your answer is, I didn't know we needed to bring a paper. Nobody told me. Uh, okay, what? Nobody. You had a workshop, and you didn't purposely put. Cassandra, when I go to workshops, I get 2 or 3 pens,
Mhm.
highlighters, notepads, because if this pen go, I don't want to make sure I got another pen.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe the neighbor gonna need a pen, but I got to highlight. I have everything I need. I don't go at the workshop depending on my neighbor to have something for me to write with. I'm going prepared to have something. I know I'm going to take notes. So that tells me when we want something, we got to physically prepare. We have to mentally prepare.
Yes.
If you serious. Now, if you're not serious, then you come to workshop and just be looking crazy, turn the camera off, drink a cup of coffee. That's people come to workshop and come to seminars and they not prepared. Can y'all hold on? I'm getting my cup of coffee. Who your people? You didn't know to get a cup of coffee. Well, if I get there and I'm late, Cassandra, I'm not getting a cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have
No.
to make through. I'm just gonna have to go through without the cup of coffee. And that's what I'm saying. We say out of our mouth, we say we are prepared or we are ready for change, but you're not ready for change if you hasn't physically changed. And if you haven't mentally changed, then, career changes. I want to be the vice president. You don't even like to get to work on time. How you going to be the vice president?
And see, that's
No.
what the process does. The process is used to change you, to
To
help you
change you.
transform. And we might not
Absolutely.
like everything that's going on in the process, but that's your preparation. That's preparing you for the manifestation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you can't tell me to get to work on time and you can't get to work on time. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me to be prepared and you have excuses all the time. I think that's one of my biggest things is we're talking to people and they always got an excuse. And I and can't take responsibility. If I'm talking to people and it's Tom, Dick, and Harry's fault, okay, we're not going to work well together because I already know you take zero responsibility. So that means any actions that if you're a supervisor, if you're a manager, you can't supervise, you can't manage because guess what? Everybody under you, you are responsible for it. Even if you didn't mess it up, if they messed up, you responsible. But if you're telling me, well, I don't know why they didn't lock the door. I don't know.
You're supposed to see to it.
I'm telling you. And that's what the process, just what you were saying. In the process of this, all of these things happen. I remember going through my processes becoming a manager. I remember going through the process of being a director. I remember going through, and one thing I learned with these processes, and I learned this from my mother, and being the older sister, she said, would take responsibility. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, well, I didn't do it. My younger sister suggested, she said, but I left you in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and so she always would say, but you're responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I learned to take on responsibility at a young age. And so by the time I got to a business or career, when people said, I knew how to take on responsibility. Nobody had to tell me I was responsible. I knew if I accepted the title and if I accepted the pay that came along with it, if something got messed up, I stepped up to the plate and said, you know what? That was my fault. I should have trained them better. That was my fault. I forgot to tell them this. That was my fault. And we got to learn everything in life. You got to learn to take responsibility for your part. And sometimes, depending on your role, you got to take responsibility for someone else's part as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And if we have this image of being in leadership, this image of having our own home, this image of being an entrepreneur, then you need to do what it takes to become that. That's that whole process and evolution, that transformation part that we're gonna get you to, and something and then it really help you understand when you begin to study and prepare. Do I really want this?
Absolutely.
Do I
I love
really
the
want
fact
this?
that you said image. Image, that is probably the key word, is who am I saying that I am? My
Mhm.
image, this is my image say, this is who I say that I am. So my actions is
Mhm.
who I say that I am. So again, putting that picture up, I put my face. I know I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I cut my face out and put it on Tony Robbins' face. I had some other motivational speaker. I had cut my face out and put it on that picture because this is the image. This is who I want to be.
Mhm.
That's how we do it. It's like your image. This who I want to be. This the professional that I want to be.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, we're coming down to the end, but before you go, I want you to share with us one simple affirmation that you do often or on a daily basis, and a simple meditation that you do often on a daily basis.
The first thing I do, Cassandra, in the morning is I get up. Once I get out of the bed, before I do anything, I have a mirror sitting on my nightstand. I
Uh-huh.
turn over to the mirror and I say, I can do all things through Christ. That's my word to me, is I can do all things through Christ. Because what happened is I get calls from people saying, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And my answer is always yes, if I want to do it. And if I
Mhm.
want to do it, I remember that I told myself this morning, I can do all things through Christ. So they said, well, do you know how to do data migration? I said, absolutely, absolutely. So again, I sit in front of that mirror and I said, I can do all things through Christ. Yeah, yes, I can, because YouTube, I believe,
Could teach me a whole lot.
it teaches me a whole lot. So that's my affirmation in the morning, is to have that mirror and to look at myself and say, I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things. And my simple meditation is getting up and not talking for at least 5 minutes. Like
Mhm.
I will just, if I go to the kitchen, I go to the restroom, shout, whatever I do for the first 5 minutes, I am just completely quiet. I don't want
Mhm.
to have a thought. And most of the time, what I do is I go in the living room and just sit on the sofa for a minute, because nothing, the lights are off, only the lamps are on, so it's the
Mhm.
perfect atmosphere. So you got to find that perfect atmosphere where you can just sit for a moment and nobody's talking, and there's no music, there's no television, there's nothing going on. Now it's a good weather time, so I can move back out to the patio, and there's nothing like hearing the birds sing in the
Mhm.
morning, and
Mhm.
you're just able to out there to sit out there and just
Mhm.
enjoy a moment. So take 5 minutes, start with a minute, start with 2 minutes, start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just take you some time where you are quiet. And as I like to say, I like to hear myself think. Hear
Yes.
yourself think for
Mhm.
a minute. Don't talk. Hear yourself think. I remember my mom used to say, my best mind, if I had gone with my first mind, she would call it her first mind. And sometimes our first mind is trying to talk to us. Our first mind is trying to, and that first mind is simply the anointing trying to tell us what to do.
Yes. Right.
It's the
Right.
Holy Spirit saying, get ready. This is what your day is going to.
Mhm.
He is mapping out our day. We all, most of the time, we just not listening. But if
Right.
we get in the habit of listening, to say our first mind, that first mind is the Holy Spirit telling you. But you got to be quiet enough, and
Yes.
that's what I practice is getting up, saying that one thing to myself is, I can do all things through Christ, moving into my quiet place and listening for a minute. And yes, I already have my pen and paper out there. I already know where I'm going to go the next in that morning. And so my pen is out there, my paper is out there, and I'm just listening for directions. It may not get directions for the whole day. I might just get direction for the first 5 minutes. I might
Mhm.
just get a direction for who I need to talk to today, who I need to pray
Mhm.
for today. And God is just telling me, this is what's going to happen during your day, and this is how you need to
Mhm.
respond. So
Mhm.
our answers are there, and most of the time our answers are very early in the morning before our day start. We just rushed out into the day and missed the answer, and then
Uh-huh.
we're working backwards. So if we cannot work backwards and just live in the moment, if we learn to live in the moment, we don't have to work backwards.
Awesome, awesome. That is so true, and I love the message, because I do too. I like to, even all through the day, sometimes just don't listen to
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get in the vehicle with me and there's no music playing, and
Mhm.
they were like, "What do you?" I said, "That's the way." I said, "I don't
Mhm.
always have the radio on, because
Absolutely.
That's my time to just listen. You
And
know?
we would talk about that, Cassandra. Remember, we would take long drives, and when we
Yes,
would drive from Mississippi to Georgia, we would not have anything on. Sometimes we talk about I drove all the way, so that's a 5 to 6 hour drive,
yeah,
and there's no music, there's no song, and that's just my time to hear. That's my
yes,
alone time, and that's what we're talking about, is having that alone time where where God wants to talk to us. He wants to tell us what to do. And I remember you talking about that one time when you had driven from Georgia to Mississippi. You said, I didn't turn on anything. Now, the first time I did that, halfway through, I was like, I'll turn this off in the bad spots, but I need to listen to something. But I remember the day when I didn't have to have anything and I could just use that time. It's just a beautiful drive, the trees, and that's the time I get to just I show my gratitude. Like, I'm grateful for the trees. I'm grateful for this peace. I'm grateful for, we get to show our gratitude just by shut up, just shut up. We tell out there, don't use the word shut up, but sometimes we just need to shut up.
we just need to be still and be quiet so that you
Absolutely.
can hear, so that you can hear.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been awesome, as it always is. The things that you have shared, the strategies, the experiences, and I think too that it's encouraging when you hear another person's experiences and how they came through and actually saw the results and manifestations that they wanted and living the life that
Absolutely.
an abundant life, a great life, because I do believe that's what God wants for us. That's what He
Amen.
said. He wants us to have an abundant life.
Abundant.
We just have to
Amen.
know how to tap in
Yes.
to the Spirit of God. We need to know how to listen to Him, to follow Him, be directed by Him, and to know that what it is that He's put in our heart is
Yes.
not for us only; it is for the world. And
Amen.
so I'm just glad that you came on and you were able to share your experiences and share this information and with us, because I believe it's really going to bless those who hear it, those who will listen to it. So we're going to get ready to let you go, but it has been awesome. And I just want to encourage everyone, use your imagination.
Yes.
God gave it to us
Yes.
for the purpose. We are creative beings. And
Absolutely.
whatever you think, whatever you see in your imagination, what image, you will become that, because that's what's going to guide your life. So thank you
Amen.
all so much for joining us today. And we're going to come back again, because we're not through talking about manifesting your
Absolutely.
vision. You all have a great and prosperous day. Bye-bye.